take a look at the matchup, and Tougie, take us through what you see here as far as these numbers.
I mean, again, you talk about both of these teams. The power play struggles have been immense. You have SAWO, we'll talk about it in a little bit. The worst power play in the league by far. Dark Horse not that far behind them, 14th out of 16 teams. And obviously, offensively, you have two of the teams that Dark Horse dead last, SAWO in the bottom three. The defensive struggles are notable, but something's got to give here in a matchup like this. Granted, it's not where they would want to be in terms of, oh yeah, we're close in competition to our opponents. We're at the bottom of the standings, but we're close. We have a chance today. It's not where they'd want to be, but ultimately, again, it's a good opportunity for both of these teams to pick up points here. You know, if you don't walk away with anything today, it's a disaster. Ideally, a split, or even more ideally, of course, you'd walk away with all 4 points and get that separation on the other team. But it is a close matchup, even if they're towards the bottom of the standings.
Let's take a look at the lineups here for these teams as we head into game number 1 of our doubleheader of doubleheaders. And you can see the starting 6 on both sides for these teams. What jumps out at you here when you're looking at these players? Because despite the fact these teams are towards the bottom or at the bottom of the standings, there is talent on both of these rosters.
Absolutely. I mean, for SAWO, we've seen some lineup changes throughout the season. Of course, something else that we'll talk about, I'm sure, as we go on here. But the addition of Chrysotus up top from Dark Horse, actually, the midway point of the season, Super Virta leaving the team. That leads to tackle control dropping back on defense. The captain there on the left-hand side. Notably, their center primarily, but dropping back the defense. He's still been able to put up points at times, but defensively, he's had a couple of error in judgments. And I think that's one of the things that kind of defines both teams' defense at this point. Offensively oriented, but those occasional defensive lapses, just not something you can afford to make. Even if you're playing another team towards the bottom of the division, the teams in the elite division here are just ruthless. They are going to make you pay for mistakes.
The puck remains in neutral ice for now. Finally entering the zone is Karki. Centered off of the post with the shot by Olishki. Still a chance for Dark Horse as it's chipped in deep behind the net. Chasing it down is Vertsu. Long shot taken, a nice save made. Got that sprawling animation, but turned it aside as Uiski stands tall the first time that he's been tested in this game. It was Olishki after providing some pressure that forced this turnover. A quick chance in the slot, but the defenseman for SAWO combining to make the steal and get it out of the zone. Kunku. Centered. Another pass and a one-timer. They score. Niaz gets on the board and makes it a 1-0 game late in the first.
10th goal of the season for the winger there. Again, that was a phenomenal pass from the center in Chrysotus to step up and make that play. That extra pass could have shot. Completely caught Yanuri off guard. Rough break for Dark Horse here after a pretty strong start. But for SAWO, again, we see it. The emergence of Chrysotus after being picked up last month. Again, now that is, I do believe, 16 points on the season now.
Just a 1-goal deficit as the third period gets underway, and now a chance for Dark Horse to open up the frame. Quick shot, rang it off the iron. Vertsu has been so good in this game. Scoops up and shoots it wide. 2 huge chances. Neither results in a registered shot on goal. Still in the offensive end, the backhander, again it's wide. Centered, one-timer, and finally it goes on goal, and in the goal it is a tie game, 1-1.
Don't get much of a replay on that one. Maybe some frustration across the board for the two teams, but a huge goal there.
Dark Horse trying to get a chance. Nice little poke check by Niaz, forces the turnover. A rush, down low. Beautiful move, and the backhander scores. Akunku picking up the marker.
An incredible feed from Nayat there to take his time, charge up that pass as much as he possibly could, and somehow gets that feed through. An unfortunate break for Dark Horse. An excellent finish from Akunku, pulling backhand, knowing that he had the time. Team leader in goals, now his 13th of the season. Team leader as well in game-winning goals with 2. May have just gotten his 3rd, and another 2 big points for SAWO.
Under 40 seconds to play. Dark Horse in desperate need of a game-tying goal, but pinning it up against the boards is Mr. Nipsely. That'll kill off some time at the very least. Here's a chance from the slot. Nice steal, as that is Akunku back-checking. and the puck goes back towards center ice with 24 seconds remaining. Back in the offensive end is Dark Horse. We're going to have a penalty called. Centering feed, the quick wrister goes wide. Chance behind the net, again centered. It goes all the way down with the delayed penalty. That is a bad break for Dark Horse, as they now have 10 seconds left and they need to get some speed here. Trying to get in the offensive end. It's touched. 5.9 seconds to go. Dark Horse will close this out on a power play. Huge face-off in this one. Game on the line. Tie up off the draw. Scooped up by the defenseman. Backhanded out towards center ice by tackle control. And SAWO picks up the win in game one, and 2 huge points in the standings to bump them up to 15 points on the season.
That was incredibly impressive there at the end. Chrysitis, the center, in the box. So it's Nayath stepping up the right wing, able to get that tie-up play. I think knowing, of course, that Dark Horse was going to want a clean win to get as clean of a playoff as they could. Just didn't happen. And that is a devastating turn of events for Dark Horse now, all things considered. Again, just 9 games left, stuck on 12 points. And now you see SAWO jumping Team Leisure, moving up, or just about jumping Team Leisure. They're up to 15 points. They can jump Team Leisure if they were to win this next game. So for SAWO right now, you know, at the end of this, if you can pick up that second win, you are going to be just a few points back of YMCA. Their dream right now of avoiding a potential relegation playoff battle is still alive.
Mukana matseissa ja kotikatsomoissa. Wilhelm Snacksit.
We're underway here in game number 2. Going up on your screen again is SAWO. They're now in the black and highlighter yellow. Dark Horse in the all white. I guess technically they have black hockey pants on, but anyway. So basically a white out jersey. Again, Dark Horse, or excuse me, SAWO speeding up the ice, taken down, and a penalty is coming. So SAWO will go to the power play for the first time in this one. McKee's the centerman going off for Dark Horse for tripping.
We've seen Dark Horse keep up that discipline, but as we saw it, SAWO just tighten up defensively, let them get frustrated, let them make their own mistakes. Big save there. The speed killing right now for SAWO on the rush.
One-timer again, the shot and a big glove save, and then played towards the corner by the goaltender. Another chance and another save, and this time, wisely covered up by Yanuri.
Playing with fire is the only way to describe that one. Nipsely just chose the wrong side of the net to deliver that one-timer too. Yanuri, I think, eventually is going to get caught out here. Perhaps a sign of frustration with the team in front of him not being able to find the support that he really needs here after a pretty strong performance. But you can only make that mistake one too many times.
SAWO pressuring, quick shot, and the goal! Their first power play goal since December 1st, and it gives SAWO the 1-0 lead here in the second period.
Finally, SAWO find that power play goal now. 2:27 on the season. Unbelievable job there, and again, Yanuri just fishing around a little bit too much there. And again, we see the big goal for Okonkwo there, leading the team in goals, adds another one to the tally. We'll see if SAWO can double up here. It's time to go all out here.
2.5 left to play here in the third period, and finally Dark Horse trying to rush into the zone. They retain possession momentarily, and now scoop it back up in the corner. Lishki played it back, but it was taken away. Niaz on the rush, has his pocket picked by Karki. And we're down to the final real-time minute to close out regulation time, and Okonkwo will start things off with a rush. On the rush, shot goes wide, had an opportunity and missed the net.
Tremendous neutral zone control on display from SAWO right now. I don't know where this team has been all season long, and this is absolutely spectacular play here. I mean, again, not the worst defensive team in the league, entered today 12th out of 16 teams in terms of goals surrendered, but right now, certainly playing above the normal standard that we've seen from them this year. 20 seconds left here to close this one out.
Dark Horse needs a goal to tie things up here to close out regulation. A nice steal made by Mr. Nipsely. It'll be played back in. The defenders for SAWO send it out of the zone. Now a rush. The defender, Mr. Nipsely, in the offensive end with 7 seconds left, will spin it back in deep. And that should just about do it. SAWO sweeping the 4 points with a 1-0 shutout victory, getting them all the way up to 17 points in the standings and likely clinching them at the very least, not being in that 16th spot when the season comes to a close.
Yeah, I mean, right now they are looking very good. I mean, after that, up to 22 games played on the season. Like you mentioned, now 17 points, so 1 point ahead of Team Leisure, who are in 13th, and SAWO still have 2 games at hand. So, I mean, right now you are 3 points clear of YMCA, who are safe from the relegation battle, at least 3 points behind them. YMCA have that buffer, but for SAWO right now, you could even be talking about getting a much more favorable matchup in terms of, being in that 13th seat. You'll have the good opportunity there if you do find yourself in that relegation battle.
Mukana matseissa ja kotikatsomoissa. Wilhelm Snacksit.